Hey folks, Ollie Connolly, Daily Chaos, and isn't it just? Election 2020 is the pivot of our entire planet at the moment, as you might have noticed. So, Jill Biden, that's Joe Biden's wife when he isn't calling himself Joe Biden's husband. He's actually Jill Biden's husband. That's a note for Joe. She had an interview on, I don't know, the Voice or the Daily Political Correct or some nonsense earlier, where she was saying how it was so wrong. All these smears against her husband and so on and so forth regarding her son's laptop. So let's study that. I have been studying that. I've been looking at it. You know, the allegation is this: that Joe Biden, as Vice President, used that revered office to racketeer, to make money out of bribery, out of doing dodgy deals. And so, for example, when the current President of the United States, Donald Trump, asked the acting President of Ukraine to investigate Hunter Biden's dealings with the energy company in Ukraine, Burisma, for which he received this peculiar directorship, given that he had no experience whatsoever in energy or apparently anything apart from smoking crack. He was subsequently impeached for asking the Ukrainian president to investigate that. Now it turns out that he had a good point. Because this laptop, which the Bidens do not deny, which the Democrats do not deny, which the FBI verifies as being legitimate, and the Department of Justice and National Intelligence, Radcliffe, they all have verified that this thing is legitimate, this laptop. You may well ask, where is the coverage in the mainstream media, and why has Twitter and Facebook been trying to cover it up by, stopping the sharing of content such as this? But that's beside the by for now. On that laptop, according to Rudy Giuliani, there is who could be sued for libel, by the way, if he's not telling the truth. Very, very serious allegations. But according to various evidence, aside from Rudy Giuliani as well, that laptop is for real. According to the FBI, the DOJ, and the NI in the United States, for example, despite what Adam Schiff, Democrat, wishes to say. And on that laptop, it turns out there's various evidence that suggests that Hunter was involved, sure, but the point is that so apparently, evidentially, was his father, Joe Biden, Democratic presidential nominee for 2020. The question being, did, as Vice President, Joe Biden use his office to racketeer? It's a huge question. It's an important question. It's a crucial question, because if it turns out that he did, and that subsequently the likes of China, a dictatorship, a totalitarian regime, has him in their pocket, what that means to not only the United States of America, but to the entire Western world and to the whole world is enormous and most grave, most grave potentially for a president to be in the pocket of this kind of company. Yeah. We need these kind of folks to be cleaner than clean. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it? But apparently the media doesn't give a damn. The mainstream media, by and large, with the exceptions of the New York Post and Fox News, care of Tucker Carlson, and apparently it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. It matters a lot, a great deal, extraordinarily. It matters. So anyway, that's where we are. But this isn't just about the presidency now, is it? It turns out it's also about the FBI. The FBI, the United States Federal Bureau of Investigations, apparently had this laptop with all this evidence on it. Now, I'm not sure whether it's 7 months ago or a year ago because the reports are varying, but it was months ago, which suggests at least, which indicates that it was at the time that this current president was being impeached. And he was being impeached because of his conversation with the acting president of Ukraine, asking him to investigate Hunter Biden. And apparently now, according to the circumstantial evidence on that laptop and elsewhere, he was correct to ask for that, because you need these people, if they're going to be running for power, to be cleaner than clean. So the FBI had this information. They were sent it by the repair guy, the guy in the PC, the personal computer repair shop, who had the laptop. Biden or whatever was too high to remember to pick it up or something. And so under United States law, at some stage, this machine became his property. And so he wanted to clean it out and resell it to, regain his costs or whatever. And he found all sorts of weird stuff with a political bent, and he decided, I'm going to send this to the FBI. Fortunately, he took a copy of the hard drive. So the FBI had this information at the very time that President Trump was being impeached in what quite clearly at the time, and according indeed to the House of Representatives, if you look at the split vote, was a political impeachment about that conversation about Hunter Biden. And the president, far from having done something incorrect, appears now to be thoroughly exonerated. Where was the FBI at that time? Why did the FBI not say, actually, you know what? He had a point. He had a point. They were nowhere. What does that tell us about the FBI? Allowing their own United States president to be impeached out of politics as opposed to out of justice. So that's basically what's going on. So Jill, my answer to you, Jill Biden, is the American public, they do have absolutely a right to hear about this. And any member of the mainstream media that doesn't think that this is a story worth running, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, the ABCs, the CBCs, the BBC, any of them that think that this is not a story that can potentially affect all of our lives, I question their integrity. It is a crucial story, it's a huge story, it's a massive story, And it's the story that's going on right now. Aside from the racketeering, there are allegations. Rudy Giuliani said that there is material on that machine that would make you want to vomit. It is so horrid, involving young people. I'm not going to get into that now. The fact is that there are questions to be asked. There are questions to be asked about all sorts. But in terms of the thing that matters probably the most, it is trust, isn't it? It's trust. An official or a wannabe official of whatever manner who wants your trust and yet who is basically in the pocket of a regime like China, and whose own regime was essentially giving American jobs at that very time to China. Big questions. Keep talking about it. Anybody that says, oh no, this is all a big smear, no, it is not. Even the FBI, despite the fact that they have been found out for having been utterly useless in their duty of protecting the sovereign interests of the United States of America, i.e. the American people, and therefrom the interests of the Western world and Western civilization and the kind of values that we hold dear. Yeah, this is a worthy topic. It's a worthy topic, and it's what's going on. In the UK, meantime, as an aside, because it almost is an aside at the moment, we've got Boris Johnson, who's just done a U-turn again on Brexit. Last video I did, I was saying how, you can't trust this guy, he's a fraud, etc., etc. Then, the day after I put that video out, I put out some posts to say, you know what, I eat my hat, because he said, no, we are not going to be dealing with them anymore. No more negotiations. That's it. It's clearly we've come up to the deadline on our talks, and they are continuing to not take us seriously as a sovereign nation, and therefore can't be bothered, which is what he promised to do, what he was mandated to do in that last general election, for example. And now, just today, it turns out, oh no, talks are ongoing. Oh no, what I said last week just doesn't count anymore. The guy is, anyway, I'll tell you what, the bottom line, I got to say, I actually feel a bit sorry for Boris, because I do feel that he's a little bit between a rock called Donald and a hard place called globalism. And I think that's where he is, and he's hedging his bets. That's what this whole Brextensions have been about, is waiting to see if the Trump train, if you like, could be derailed. And then there would be a very handy Biden presidency or whatever else to say, no trade deal UK. And then he's got a great excuse to say, oh, we better stay with the EU for now. We left the EU, but we can just put in another treaty, which is basically Brino. So that's the deal with him, it seems to me. But of course, that's speculation, and we will know down the road. It all hinges on November the 3rd. It all hinges on the US election. And it actually doesn't matter where you are around this planet. If you care about democracy, and if you hate the idea of this great reset, which, by the way, for example, the British government was chatting up a couple of weeks ago, but have gone all quiet about now, which you can read all about, for example, at the World Economic Forum's website. If you want to retain your sovereignty, then these are things that you should be caring about. So anyway, That's it. That's enough. Election 2020, what is it? 2 days to the debate, almost to the hour. And that will be a debate. The only reason I can see Biden turning up at that debate, frankly, given what he faces against Trump, the questions, the awkward questions that will damn his family into oblivion, is because he really is in China's pocket and he hasn't got any choice. I seriously wonder about that. And I seriously wonder if Boris is not in a dissimilar situation. You know, people, they don't like Trump or whatever. Yeah, he's narcissistic. Yeah, fair play. I think he is. He is bombastic. A man to my heart. So what? So what? Does he want to drain the swamp and free the United States and in turn Western nations of the swamp? I got to say, that personally is all I care about. I don't give a damn about the guy's personality. Well, I do. I mean, I actually think he's the right man for the time. We need somebody very strong-minded. But, I leave that up to you to consider. But what I will say is that I look back at that last election and Trump on his soapbox at that time, and I think he has been true to what he said. I think that he's done pretty much everything that he said and more. The one thing that he has not carried through entirely is draining the swamp. But when you consider how deep that swamp goes, not just the political class, be it Democrat or Republican, but the judiciary and the justice system, as I have, I hope, explained, for example, or given example to with the FBI, kind of makes sense now. It's a huge task. If he is re-elected now with a huge mandate to deliver that, then I really do think he can get on with it. I really do. And I think it is no great surprise, given all of the above, to see that he has been a president with one arm tied behind his back throughout this administration. But it's far harder in a second term for them to continue to tie him down, and they are extraordinarily exposed here. We've got the whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing coming out, and the ramifications for the Clintons, for example, and we've got this deal with the Biden family as well, coming out despite the mainstream media. And it looks, well, I mean, it's Halloween, folks, yeah? The future's bright. The future's orange. That's it. Catch you later. Ollie Connolly, Daily Chaos. Here's to us. And bugger plutocracy.